Welcome to TheoTrade. Don Kaufman here, December 3rd, 2025. We're just a few minutes after the cash close here on this Wednesday afternoon. The S&P is closing up some 22 handles. Pretty quiet session overall. I mean, bottom line, what we're seeing in the marketplace, I'll start with like financials. The financials are up a full 1.3%. That doesn't seem to matter. You're actually looking at the energy sector. Energy sector is up almost 2%. Yeah, it simply does not matter because all that matters in this marketplace is tech. And tech's interesting right now because it's turbulent. And we're actually seeing rotations within tech itself. And this turbulent tech continues these rotations. And people, that is your marketplace right now. Let's break that and much more down here, of course, on this TheoTrade evening video. Starting with Apple off about 0.7%, and Amazon's down a little bit. So I'm actually looking at tech today. Apple looks just fine. Obviously, still cracking to all-time highs today. Amazon, okay, maybe not. The bid back in Amazon over here looks to be fading to some degree. We'll see if there's any follow-through in it. But when I'm actually looking through a couple of tech companies over here, Microsoft, obviously Microsoft is in the midst of a downtrend anyway, and received some news this morning. By the way, the news was basically like, AI isn't necessarily like, adapting to Microsoft clients, yada, yada, yada. The Microsoft actually denied some of the allegations in that. It was just like some blog report, but it's pretty amazing how sensitive the marketplace is because that blog report dropped the S&Ps, dropped Microsoft, but nevertheless, Microsoft still closed a bit lower. And I'm going to tell you right now, when you're looking at Microsoft, as I said, kind of turbulent tech, Microsoft, some heavy sell side activity. This just looks like, again, another round of selling coming in here to Microsoft. So regardless of what was stated, this might just be Microsoft rolling back over. Not too dissimilar from what you were seeing inside of Amazon. The bid back is actually being faded here a little bit. Google's its own animal right now, very close to all-time highs. Meta, this is another one where I think another round of sell side is actually coming in. So significant break, obviously your bounce, looking for it to come back off. I could just keep drawing that line all day. Nevertheless, I'm looking for Meta to roll back over, but I'll tell you, I wouldn't mind if Meta had a little bit more of a bid under it, because this is one that I'm not presently in an in-out spread or a short position in here, and I'd like to actually get in one. NVIDIA, okay, NVIDIA, this, the 180 level looks fairly critical. I'd like to say that 180 is like make or break, but you can just take a look below. Just in recent trading sessions, we've traded all the way down to 170, but it definitely appears to be in the midst of a downtrend. So AI trade might be called into question, but then it's all for nothing, as I said. Okay, there's rotations now going on within tech itself. And I think that's one of the most critical areas. Like, the S&P is finished up 23. Nobody cares the fact that the S&P is finished up 23. Like literally, like I don't mind saying that. Nobody cares because there's no volume behind it. There's just no volume. No one cared that, the financials were up. I'm sure somebody was like, I was long Goldman Sachs. It was the greatest day of my life. But I just feel like every other sector, it just simply doesn't matter. And I'll just, proofs in the pudding over here. The advanced decline line today, it's fairly spectacular. I mean, it points today, you're almost to full-blown correlation. 80, 83 stocks trading to the upside. We closed with a really strong advanced decline line. 74, stocks traded to the upside in the S&P 100. That ain't half bad. And at the exact same time as I said this, I'll even scroll down to some of the major sectors. Like every sector that you're looking at, they're higher, they're higher, they're higher. But it doesn't matter because what moves markets, okay, is big tech. And today, what really mattered more than any other stock is Tesla, okay? It's Tesla because once again, Tesla for a while kind of fell by the wayside, but Tesla's back up to about $1.5 trillion. So it's about 1.5 trillion. And of course, some of you will turn around and like, oh, please. that pales in comparison to obviously Google, and Google's almost a $4 trillion company. I'd agree with that statement, except when you take a look at Google, Google is a 30% implied volatility. Tesla, okay, is a 50+% implied volatility. So Google's 1.5 trillion, okay, matters a lot. Like it's moving, like if you were to kind of volatility adjust. And for those of you that have no idea what I'm talking about, like if you took Tesla's volatility, okay, and you were able to bring it to basically the lowest common denominator against like Google, all of a sudden, Tesla is the equivalency of like, oh, let's say like a 2.5 or 2.6 trillion dollar company versus Google. And again, I'm just kind of like volatility adjusting those two together to give you an idea of the magnitude. But nevertheless, look, Tesla moved up 4%. Okay. And if you're asking like why, it doesn't matter. And one of the things I always try to drive home, and I don't think I emphasize it enough, especially here in these videos, is that I do not care what the news is. I don't want to hear a story. Okay. If I needed a bedtime story, I'd ask. I don't need a story. Why? Oh, they rotated into. You can come up with any crap that you want of why Tesla actually. Look, the bottom line is, okay, you're getting CTAs, which is a form of electronic trade that's rotating into it. And you know what? Retail then jumps on it. Like all you have to do is look under option statistics, and the number of calls being bought inside of Tesla today is nothing less than phenomenal. It's almost 2 times the norm, okay, of calls that are traded today. The sizzle index. Sizzle index is today's option volume versus the previous 5 days. And you're sizzling it almost 2 times. But you can see heavy call activity traded at the ask or above. People buying calls like they're going out of style, which actually forces the market making firms to turn around and buy stock. Okay, CTAs then jump on that, which is again electronic trading, and away we go. And then what else do you see? Well, selling. Okay, nobody loves Meta. Clearly, nobody loves Microsoft. That is all that matters in this marketplace. I was talking the other day extensively about market capitalization, and we've actually hit, okay, this weird place in the marketplace. And that's, if you take a look, by the way, Google is kind of misinterpreted here, but this is just the S&P 500, okay? If you looked at all of the financials, there's like all of the financials combined, okay? Like everything, it equals about the equivalency of like Apple plus Microsoft. And I can't stress some of this stuff enough, because the market now, it's not what you think it is. It's not about sector rotation. It's about magnitude. Everything is about magnitude, and magnitude is basically like market cap matters and everything else doesn't. So you go and rally in the financials, and you rally in the energy sector. I can't even find the energy sector in here. Okay, it's over here. Like seriously, it's becoming absolutely comical. If you look at the energy sector, okay, there's the energy sector all the way down here. Every time I click on it, the box is so damn small you can't even see it. Okay, it doesn't even equal half of like a Microsoft. That's the entire energy sector. Like that. Oh yes, that includes Chevron, ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips, and everything else. Okay, I was bringing this up the other day too, like Walmart. How many Walmarts can fit into like one Nvidia? It's ridiculous out there. So all of a sudden, we're not thinking anymore, okay, about sector rotations. At least I'm not. I'm not thinking about, oh, let's rotate into the financials, okay? The sector rotation is like Apple, okay? Sell Apple today and buy Google. The stocks themselves, tech stocks themselves, are the sectors. That's the biggest thing that I can drive home on this evening's video. These stocks are their own sectors because they're much bigger than any sector. I mean, holy crap, they're bigger than most sovereignties, okay? When you look at something like, oh, how much did Meta make? The only thing you can even compare it to is GDP, okay? That's it. That's how significant these have become, okay? It's like critical mass of companies. So what do we see today? Turbulence, more turbulence in here. And tech, it doesn't look great from my perspective. It just doesn't. And I'm not trying to bear up on you over here. Broadcom still a couple of points off all-time highs. Tesla, okay, Tesla looked good today, but I'll make a quick point. Up 17% year-to-date basis. The irony is, okay, Tesla's up 17% year-to-date basis. Are you aware that all of that has come like in the last 2 weeks of trade? Can't make that crap up. Like, look how many trading sessions you got over here. Oh no, you're like what, 8 or 10 trading sessions? You were unchanged in the year just a couple of days ago, and all of a sudden up 17%. Why? Okay, because they're rotating. Get on board, people. Okay, these are sectors now, and they're rotating. Thanks everybody for joining us here at TheoTrade. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.